What if I told you there's a single financial habit that can pretty much act as a shield against all of life's nasty surprises? Well, today, we're going to build that shield. Let's break down what the architecture of financial resilience actually looks like.
Just imagine it for a second. A sudden medical bill lands in your inbox, or your car just refuses to start. That feeling, that jolt of panic, that's what happens when life hits an unprotected financial nerve. It's a feeling we all know, and it shows you just how vulnerable you can be if you're not prepared.
So, the antidote to all that stress is actually surprisingly simple. It's a buffer, a financial buffer. It's a really straightforward idea, but the impact it can have on your peace of mind is just massive.
Okay, so before we get into the how, let's really lock in the why. What makes this buffer so incredibly important? I want you to think of it as forging your own personal financial protective shield. And this shield, it's built on one core habit, what we call saving behavior. But let's be super clear here. This isn't just about putting away whatever's left at the end of the month. No way. It's a disciplined allocation. It's a conscious choice you make to fund your future before you fund your today.
And just look at the payoff for that discipline. On one hand, it's your immediate defense, your front line against those sudden financial shocks. And on the other hand, it's the very foundation you're going to use to build real, lasting wealth. It's a win-win.
Now, to save effectively, you have to be totally honest about where your money is actually going. Every single dirham you earn basically arrives at a fork in the road. What I love about this visual is just how simple it makes everything. Look, every dollar you earn can only go to one of three places. It's either spent, that's consumption, used to pay down debt, or it's saved, that's it. It's not some complicated formula. Saving isn't an afterthought, it's a direct choice you're making against the other two. And this leads to a huge mindset shift. See, most people save what's left after they're done spending. But real financial resilience, that comes from spending what's left after you're done saving. You gotta make it the priority right from the start. And the number one priority for your savings, no question, has to be the emergency fund. This isn't your vacation money or your new car fund. This is a dedicated, easily accessible cash reserve for true emergencies. It's the financial firewall that stands between you and a full-blown crisis. All right, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get into the good stuff, the practical how-to of actually building this fund from the ground up. The single most powerful rule for building this fund is a classic for a reason. Pay yourself first. It's such a simple phrase, but it will completely reframe how you think about your paycheck. And here's exactly what that looks like in the real world. Step 1, you get paid. Great. Step 2, immediately, before you pay a single bill, before you buy a coffee, you move a set amount to your savings account. Then, and only then, step 3, do you use what's left over for everything else. You are literally putting your own financial security first, no exceptions.
So, what's the magic number? How much are you aiming for? Well, the goalposts that most financial planners set are somewhere between 3 to 6 months' worth of your essential living expenses. And that word essential is so important here. This isn't about funding your entire lifestyle. It's about funding your survival.
So what counts as essential? We're talking about the absolute must-pays, right? Your housing, your food, transportation to get to work, insurance, and those minimum debt payments. Anything extra like entertainment, eating out, subscriptions, that stuff does not go into this calculation. When you add up those essentials, you get a really powerful number. In this example, it's 10,000 dirhams. See, this isn't some vague, fuzzy goal anymore. It's a concrete, monthly survival figure that you can work with. So, with that concrete number, we can set our first target. The 3-month minimum for this fund would be 30,000 dirhams. That's a solid 90-day cushion to get through a crisis without having to rack up a bunch of debt. And if you want to push for that more robust 6-month shield, well, that means your target is 60,000 dirhams. Hitting this level gives you this incredible sense of security, because you know you're ready for a much bigger, longer-lasting disruption. And this brings us to the final and maybe the most crucial point of all, the real payoff. Because an emergency fund isn't just a defensive buffer, it's the offensive bedrock for everything else you want to achieve financially. I mean, this slide says it all, doesn't it? Just look at the two paths. Without a fund, a financial shock means chaos, debt, and a ton of stress. But with a fund, that same shock just gets absorbed. You stay stable. You stay in control of your own life.
And this is the ultimate takeaway here. An emergency fund doesn't just protect you from falling backward, It is the stable foundation that finally gives you the freedom to start moving forward, to build real long-term wealth.
So, after all this, the only question left is for you. Now that you've seen the blueprint, what is the first concrete step you're going to take today to start building your own financial bedrock?